he was saying I always have stuff for sale.
Yeah.
I bought a $1,200 keyboard amp,
Oh, Bobby.
the top of the line Roland one.
Nice.
I can't pick it up.
You can't.
I can't lift it. I can't lift it. No. So I don't know how I'm gonna ever use it. It's on rollers though.
Oh my God.
Hi. How are you?
We're going, guys.
We gotta get started.
All right.
Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God.
And we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God.
We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God.
The morning sun coming through the trees, the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze, the songbirds singing to the honeybees, living in the heart of God.
We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. After the dazzle of day is done, moon makes love to the setting sun. The stars come twinkling, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God.
We sleep in dreams both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the spirit's delight, living in the heart of God.
We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God. We are living in the heart of God.
Nothing is ever lost. We are not forgotten. In the heart of God.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, I love that. We are living in the heart of God. Fantastic. Good morning.
Morning.
How is everyone?
Good.
Wet. I am so grateful for that rain today. I just love it. So, yes, wet is good. My name is Stephanie. It's my pleasure to welcome you here this morning. It is a pleasure to see all of these faces, some that I recognize and know and love, and others that I don't recognize.
For those of you who are joining us online, it is my pleasure to welcome you with us also and to affirm that we are all one in spirit. Jeff Tawney is with us today. Give him a hand.
Yay.
We are very, very excited for the role that he has taken on with us, and I look forward to many, many more messages from him. His talk today is Judgment Part 2 and Understanding the Power, or the Power of Understanding. And so I look forward to the second half of that. It's going to be fantastic. Special thanks go out to our musicians. We love you so much. Sandra, Nikki, Chris, you're amazing. Thank you so much for your contributions. Also to our media team, Wayne, Byron, Michael, thank you so much for what you guys do. We appreciate you, and we understand that nothing happens here without you guys, so thank you so much. And on that note, we're going to get some more music stylings from our music team.
Well, and from the congregation. So I'm going to ask you to stand if you would wish to and sing this. I think we have words for thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. And thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day.
That was fun and fabulous. All right, at this time, I invite you all to greet one another. We'll take a moment, greet your neighbor, say howdy. You fist bump, or no, we're going to do peace statement first. I'm sorry, I'm out of order. I'm out of order. They're going to greet anyway. Mine says greet your neighbor.
Yeah, they're getting a few more people here. Just the usual stuff.
Hi, darling. Oh, good. Excellent. I think so. It's a good place to be. It is.
Like when you're a little kid with your mom.
All right. I invite you to wrap up those wonderful conversations and your joy of being with each other, and let us return. Thank you so much. And now I invite you all to join me in our unity statement for peace. Together, please. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God. For there is one power and presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. It is therefore the position of unity to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever name for guidance during these challenging times, and to pursue peace, not war, for this is what honors the God of faith traditions. All right, okay. Next up is our spiritual nugget for today. This comes to us from Joseph Campbell from the Hero Path. We have not even to risk the adventure alone, for the heroes of all time have gone before us. The labyrinth is thoroughly known. We have only to follow the thread of the hero path. And where we had thought to find abomination, we shall find God. And where we had thought to slay another, we shall slay ourselves. Where we had thought to travel outwards, we shall come to the center of our own existence. And where we had thought to be alone, we shall be with all the world. Thank you, Joseph, for those deep words. And now we will prepare for meditation.
Come into the quiet. Come in from the storm to a place where time stands still. The Spirit is reborn. Come into the quiet. Take your place among the stars. Come into this place. Come as you are. You don't need directions to find this place in time. Just head on down the road that's laid before you. Circle back around your heart and you'll find peace of mind. Trust that place inside that's calling you home. Come into the quiet. Wrap your heart around all the love that's here for you, just waiting to be found. Come into this holy place and whisper to the stars. Come into this place, come as you are. You don't need directions to find this place in time. Just head on down the road that's laid
the silence say all the things you'd like to hear each and every day. Come into the quiet, you can listen to the stars. Come into this place. Come into this place. Come into this place. Come as you are. Come into this place. Come as you are.
So I invite you all to feel your body supported by your chair, your feet flat on the floor, and your back supported by the back of the chair. And take a deep breath. And another deep breath. I arise today through the strength of heaven, light of the sun, radiance of the moon, splendor of fire, speed of lightning, swiftness of wind, depth of sea, stability of the rock. I rise today through God's strength to pilot me, through God's might to uphold me, through God's wisdom to guide me, through God's eye to look before me, and God's ear to hear me, God's word to speak for me, God's hand to guard me, God's way to lie before me, God's shield to protect me, God's host of heavenly beings to shelter me alone or in a multitude. God, shield me today against all worry, for Christ is within me. Christ goes before me and behind me. Christ is beneath and above me. Christ is on my right and on my left. Christ when I lie down, and when I sit down, or when I stand. May Christ be in the heart of everyone who thinks of me, in the words of everyone who speaks to me. I arise today through the fullness of heaven. Let it be so. Let it be now. And let it be. Take a deep breath in and out. And one more in. And so it is. Thank you, everyone. Well, I feel a little awkward, like way up here and you're down there. I really like this. I'm just going to change things. I'm not one to be like to stand up above people. It's not. I am. I'm tall enough as it is, right? Last week's visioning was amazing. Now, for those of you who are here, we did some visioning and we had some things that were shared, some things that were expressed. And what came out of that resonated throughout the week for me and for a couple of other people as well. One of the things that was shared by two of our young ladies was the need in the world and the people in our community that are hurting, and the need for connection, and this issue with loneliness. And what's so strange, and I guess not in a strange way, but in a sovereign God providence way, is all the information that was coming into me this week as it related to loneliness and the church's responsibility and opportunity for that, which is something that has been part of what we've been talking about. So I want to give a shout out and a thanks to Sarah and Christine for you guys having the courage to speak up and share what you see, because I feel this way, that if things are coming to a head and then I or we are collectively getting more information as it relates to affirmation, then that tells us that we're in the right place, we're in the right channel. If we don't, it's in the Bible, one of the things that Jesus talks about is the tenets, and if you are being if you're being that's what I'm looking for. But if you're being right with it, if you're multiplying and you're being responsible for those things, then more will be added onto you. But when you become irresponsible with those things, they tend to dry up. And I think that we have an opportunity where these things are coming to us, and it's our opportunity to continue into that flow and to stay within that and not ignore it, because we risk the chance of things drying up when we don't pay attention. And I think that's our opportunity, and I'm very thankful. I'm thankful for Dana for putting it together, and for Stephanie, and then also for Christine and Sarah for just speaking their truth. And I'm also very grateful for all of you that were here, and those of you online that allowed yourself to be in that place and be open and that sort of thing. So I'm going to revisit Judgment. Did the first part of that in first part of July, and July was our month of understanding. And then circumstances interrupted that, and I wasn't able to do the second part until the beginning of this month. So we're going to look at it. It's interesting that this month's power is a power of will, and in the will of making the choice, the decision to decide, right? And when we talk about judgment, in those times of judgment, we have the opportunity to make a choice. And sometimes it's a choice to say something, but in other times it's a choice not to say anything, and or not to necessarily accept it or believe it, because a lot of the judgment that we go through is not just a judgment that goes on out here, but it's a judgment that goes on in here. It's the little things that we tell ourselves. It's the noise that we've heard over the years about who we are and what we do and all of that. And I struggle with that every day. Struggle with those, still trying to right all of those little things. So anyways, I'm just going to do a real quick recap of what we talked about the last time. As you recall, I did the poem about the blind men and the elephant, and that was basically about these blind men, and they all had an opportunity to touch an elephant, and each of them, from their perspective, touched different parts of the elephant, and the elephant meant something different to each one of them. But yet, while they are all right, they were also partially wrong. But that was in their judgment. But their judgment was based upon the very thing that they saw, touched, and experienced. And so there they were completely right. Then we talked about the three directions of judgment, whereas we judging others, others judging us, and then we judging ourselves. Then we also talked about the positive need for judgment in judicial situations, contests, games, matches. The Olympics is really prevalent right now, obviously going all over everywhere, and so we're seeing a lot of contests and judgment going on there. We also we talked about the things that we have all either said at one point or have heard at one point. You're so judgmental. Why are you judging me? Be careful not to judge. And who are you to judge me? And then we looked at some scripture. Do not judge, or you will be judged. Do not condemn, or you will be, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. We looked at the scripture where there was a young lady that Jesus was talking to, and the Pharisees came, and they were like, "This is an adulterous woman. We need to stone her." And Jesus said, basically, let those among you without sin cast the first stone. And the interesting thing that I saw in reading that was what Jesus didn't say. And what he said to those that were wanting Jesus to do something, what he said turned them away, and they went away from the situation. But what Jesus didn't say to the woman was judging her. He basically said, they don't judge you, and neither do I. God doesn't judge you, and neither do I. Even the Christ consciousness, if we're looking at the Christ consciousness doesn't judge in the midst of situation where people may think that we should be judging or that we should be judgmental. It's interesting in a lot of the scripture when you look at the situations what Jesus doesn't say. There's a lot of focus on what he says or what he does, but there's also that of what we can learn of what he doesn't necessarily say. So now we'll look at some other parts of judgment that I didn't get to put into my first talk, and that is the understanding of it. So a couple of the verses or the pieces in the Course in Miracles that I've really felt was very prevalent for this was in this particular quote, "Remember how many times you thought you knew all the facts you needed for judgment and how wrong you were. Is there anyone who has not had this experience? Would you know how many times you thought you were right without ever realizing that you were wrong? Why would you choose such an arbitrary basis for decision making? Wisdom is not judgment. It is the relinquishment of judgment." And we have a saying in my home, know the facts. And this past week, I had the just amazing opportunity to have both of my kids in town with my grandkids. It's the first time in 5 years since my son got sick. The last time, and it's really ironic, because in my Facebook memories came up the last time we were all together, and that was a month before my son got sick. Sorry. I had an opportunity with my grandson. We were walking in downtown Spokane, and my littlest grandson, not the youngest one, but anyways, we're walking, and as we come out of the pizza place, a young man walks by us, very, very astutely dressed, very confident in the way he was walking, presenting himself. It was noticeable, and he probably works at Nordstrom's. He was every crease was properly You know, he was dressed. And my grandson, we're walking, my grandson says, Papa, he says, that man isn't normal. Now, this is coming from a young man that grows up. My daughter, they live on a ranch in southern Colorado, and they live on a game ranch. So their idea of normal is boots, jeans, and T-shirts. And so his idea of normal was not that. And I thought to myself, his experience, this is a perfect example of how his experience of where he comes from, that's not normal. And I said, well, why do you say that, Sawyer? And he says, well, look at the way he's dressed. And I said, yeah? I said, maybe he's in fashion and he has to dress that way in order to promote the clothing he sells. And he says, oh, teaching moment, right? It's the opportunity in the simplest of minds of our children and those around us. He didn't know any better. And a lot of times at 66, I don't know any better either. I'm going to skip ahead here because I had a lot, and there again. You know, one of the benefits I'm going to have of speaking here every week is I'm not going to feel like I have to fill up the entire time of my talking with everything that comes to me. I'll be able to spread it out. One of the things I wanted to reference here was Charles Fillmore said, knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. Spiritual discernment always places wisdom above the other faculties of mind and reveals that knowledge and intelligence are auxiliary to understanding. Intellectual understanding comes first in the soul's development, then a deeper understanding of principle follows until the man ripens into wisdom. And I thought that was so profound because it's talking about the process of which we take information and the way that we learn and the way that it comes out. And we're in a constant state of that process, right? Like we're constantly growing, we're constantly evolving. And that's as it should be. That is the process. And we do that until we die. Now, some characteristics of judgment. I'm sorry that is so small. Oh, well, it's okay. You can read it. The characteristics of judgment is we usually project a committed opinion. So when we're judging something, we're making a commitment to that opinion and we're projecting that commitment. Our opinion is usually based upon what we see or how we see it. If we are serving on a jury, we are provided evidence or facts to make a judgment. The act is based on our judgment, and we can objectify that when we do place a judgment on something, we're objectifying it. That man isn't normal, right? We're judging it, now we're objectifying that, and it becomes much easier to deal with that when it's an object. I can cast it off with an object. How else do we see that in our world today? How about liberal versus conservative? I'm guilty of evangelical versus spiritualist, whatever, right? We place those labels, and then when we place those labels, we objectify, and then it becomes very easy to dismiss people. I think I've told a story. Forgive me if I've told it again, if I tell it again. But when I first started working at Apple, I was going into the retail environment, and I made a decision. I was going to keep my Christianity to myself. Not that I was ashamed of it, but I didn't want to be immediately casted off into this rat hole, into this position. And so over time, I just offered wisdom and got to know the kids, because I was the oldest guy in the store. And it was ironic. It was really funny because when older people would come into the store, they'd look around, they'd see the young kids, and they would come to me. And anytime we had an older person come into the store that was looking for help, it was like, get Jeff. And the people were like, oh, thank God. I didn't want to have to deal with somebody with an earring in his nose or whatever. But where was I going with that? Oh, so I was able to make connections with the young people in the environment there. And because they didn't have an opportunity to objectify me because I didn't say this is what I stand for. So all we were able to do was make connection and build relationships. And over those relationships, I can't tell you how many would say to me, I wish my dad was as cool as you. I wish my dad was as relevant as it is to you. And at that time, I started there and then I went through a divorce. My wife left, and that's a whole different story. But one of the young ladies there who was lesbian, and her partner had left. So we connected by the virtue of the fact that we were going through a breakup. And so we would start talking, and she'd say, what books are you reading? And then she'd buy the book and read it, and then we'd have coffee and talk about it. And this happened over 6 months or so. And so Stesha, her name was Stesha, she shared with me her relationship history and how she'd been with a guy, and then this happened, and then she thought being in a relationship with the same sex was going to be easier, and then she come to find out, like, no, they got just as many problems as they're just as controlling as everybody else is. So, long story short, at one time there came a point when Stesha said, Jeff, I think I'm ready to start dating again. And I said, okay. She goes, I think I'm ready to start dating a man. Great. No judgment. And I was like, that's great, Stesha. And she says, I want to find a man like you. And at that moment, I literally felt the hand of God on my shoulder saying, well done. That's what I called you to do. Just build relationships. Just listen. And I'm not saying that to brag. Please understand, I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. What I'm saying is that those are the opportunities that we have in the world today. We all look at things through the lens of the biases that we carry and the experiences that we've come through in our life. When we move to our higher self, when we get out of the dull beating of the drum, and we're able to get to the higher self, get to our higher self, we're able to see through those biases and through those experiences and recognize, like, yes, I'm seeing this situation, and I know that my normal bent is this, but I can actually see it this way. I can see it a different way when I'm able to look through my higher self. That's why it's so important for us to do our work. Our work is not this. Our work is this. Our work is to find out what those things inside of us that are preventing us from being in the community and being in people's lives. It's not about telling them what to do or how to live their life. It's about us telling ourselves what to do and how to live our life. It's about listening to Spirit and being connected. So some suggestions about avoiding judgment. Think of proximity. How close are you to the situation or the person? Maybe you're too close to the situation. Maybe the situation is one of those you need to step back from. Friday on a job site, I was having a situation with a difficult customer. Actually, it wasn't even the customer, it was a subcontractor. And the subcontractor was making an issue out of something that should not have been an issue. But what they were trying to do was elevate themselves in the sight of the customer and make me look like the bad guy. And so I have a new helper that's been working with me, and I literally was like, I looked at the other contractor. I don't know what you want me to do. Like this is not an issue. And in the meantime, the customer is getting more and more upset, and I could just feel myself like I just wanted to bolt. I wanted to walk. I was really frustrated, and so I stepped outside. I just said, "Excuse me," and I went out to my truck and I made a phone call and in the meantime, my helper, who I'm learning is an absolute angel for me, stepped into the situation and went, blah, 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 went through, handled everything, and didn't handle it to the satisfaction, but he basically, in a very subtle way, made the other contractor look like an idiot. Basically put the mirror back and say, okay. So, long story short, I recognize that my limitation and my proximity to that situation needed me to get out and take a deep breath, because the old me, the me of 10 years ago, would have laid into the other person and then probably felt really guilty about it later because I wasn't really tuned into who I was. But anyways, the other thing is emotions, taking a step back away, collecting our emotions. That's another thing that I did. Knowing the facts and ask questions and more questions. Staying curious. When we move into judgment, we move away from curiosity. And the curiosity is what's going to keep us connected. There's a saying that someone taught me a long time ago, that questions convict, statements condemn. So no one wants to be condemned, but people like to be questioned. And when they're questioned, it opens up their curiosity. And maybe they don't start processing what that means until a day or two or a week later or a month later, where they're like, and I've had that happen to me where someone asked me a question and I didn't have an answer for it. And then all of a sudden, a month, find myself going, there's some truth in that. Visualize. What kind of experiences would you like to have, and how would you? I've had situations where it's like, how would I feel if that was me? If I was in that situation, how would I feel? And then look for an authentic friendship, someone that you can talk to and you can process things through, and can help you see maybe the speck in your eye, right? The board in your eye, I should say. Maybe there's somebody in your life that you can have that authentic friendship that won't judge you, that will simply help point you in the other direction. Or maybe make something, my partner Julie, she's so good at this with me, is we will talk about something and I'll share a struggle with her and she'll just simply ask me a question. And that question gets me to thinking and going in a different direction. And I don't feel, because of the friendship I have with her and my relationship, I don't feel like I'm being attacked or that our relationship is being questioned. So it's important to find somebody like that in your life. If you have somebody like that, cherish them and let them know. And I'm just going to say, we're in the crazy season right now. We're in the crazy season of political stuff, a lot of stuff. And, there's times I wonder, do I want to stay on Facebook? Do I get off Facebook? Honestly, what I'm finding and what I'm learning is I see something on Facebook and it triggers me and it's like, okay, I need to pay attention to this. Why is this triggering me? So it's a good way to see, like, why is that a problem for me? And to deal with that and really, try to understand what's going on. And also, what is ours to do in that? What is the reflection and what is ours to do? I think all I'm going to say about the political atmospheres that we're in is a Christ consciousness demonstrates to us what is ours to do. And that is when Jesus was presented, when they came to him, the Pharisees came to him, and they tried to trick him, and they asked him about the coin, and they said about taxes, and they said, what do you think about these taxes? And Jesus said, whose image is on that? Wasn't his. What he was saying was, this is not mine to do. This is separate from what we're talking about, what I'm talking about. And I, Jesus, refuse to enter into that political environment because it serves no purpose for what my calling and purpose is in life. And I would just ask each of us, and ask as we go through things, is what is my purpose in this environment? If I truly want to have the Christ consciousness, is engaging in this situation truly what the Christ consciousness wants me to do? If my goal and my mission in life is to refine and rise to my higher self, is this mine to do? Is this mine to engage with? Or is this mine to say, nope, not today? Because Jesus, this was bait that they were trying to lay out for him. They were trying to trick him. Just like they were trying to trick him with the woman that they were about to stone for adultery. They were trying to trick him. And I used to have a saying, don't take the bait. It's funny because in the stuff I was reading said, don't take the bait. Because men are marketed to, just as a side note, men are marketed to. They know how to market to us. When it comes to marketing and that sort of thing, it's like, let me show you a scantily dressed woman. Let me show you things that are going to trigger us. And so that is bait. Don't take the bait. I used to tell myself, don't take the bait. Someone would walk in, don't take the bait. Not going to look, not my circus, not my monkey, I'm not taking the bait. And that's what they're intending to do. And the same thing on social media. They have these algorithms and all these things that are trying to get you to click. And they're trying to get you because they'll build profiles on you. I don't like a lot of things anymore because of knowing what is happening. But, that's our work to do. That's our opportunity. I'm going to point out something. How many know the story of Desmond Doss? As a young boy, Desmond saw pictures of the 10th Commandment, the 6th Commandment, thou shalt not kill. Doss saw the picture of Christ. He wanted to be like Christ. And he wanted to save a life versus take a life. Now, Doss chose military service despite being offered a deferment because of his shipyard work. On April 1st, 1942, at Camp Lee, Virginia, he was sent to Fort Jackson in South Carolina for training with the reactivated 77th Infantry Division. Doss refused to carry a weapon into combat because of his personal belief as a Seventh-day Adventist against killing. He consequently became a medic assigned to the 2nd Platoon, Company B, 1st Battalion, 307th, 77. He was drafted into the military during World War II based on the upbringing convictions. Doss refused to take up a weapon. He faced a lot of criticism, bullying, and conflict with his decision. He was labeled a coward, traitor, and many of his fellow soldiers refused to serve with him. While serving with his platoon in 1944 in Guam and the Philippines, he was awarded 2 Bronze Star medals with V for valor, for exceptional valor in aiding wounded soldiers under fire. During the Battle of Okinawa, he saved the lives of 50 to 100 wounded infantrymen atop an area known by the 96th Division as the Maeda Encampment, or also known as Hacksaw Ridge. Doss was wounded 4 times in Okinawa and was evacuated May 21st, 1945 on the USS Mercy. Doss suffered a left arm fracture from a sniper's bullet while being carried back to Allied lines, and at one point had 17 pieces of shrapnel embedded in his body after attempting to kick a grenade away from himself and his comrades. He was awarded the Medal of Honor for his actions in Okinawa. In a YouTube, there's videos of Doss being interviewed. And during all of the action and everything going on, Doss' prayer was, Lord, please help me get one more. Please help me get one more. Now I ask you, do you think those men that judged him as a coward, as a traitor, those that bullied him, do you think their minds were changed when they saw him on the battlefield, caring for the wounded and saving those 75 to 100 lives? I'm sure their impression of him was completely different after that day, that he was not a coward. And it was his conviction on saving a life versus taking a life, that very conviction that said, don't take up a weapon, that very conviction is the conviction he needed in order to save those men in the field of battle. So in closing, I would just say that as we go about our lives and we look at judgment, not just judgment on ourselves, but then the judgment. And we're in a very high energy time of judgment, that we consider what the Christ consciousness is asking of us. What is ours to do? Seek first to understand before being understood. Thank you.
Wow, Jeff, that was a great message. Really great. I'm going to invite you all to sing along for a song called God in Everything.
Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. I can feel it in my beating heart. God in everything. It's in every breath of life I take. God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. It's in every stranger's face I see God in everything. We are brothers, sisters, family, God in everything. Everywhere I look, I see God in everything. Deep inside and all around me, God in everything. Mountain, valley, lake, and stream, God in everything. All creation, beautiful and free, God in everything. God in everything. God in everything.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that message today. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
Give him a hand. All right, we have some announcements. Announcement number 1 is we have our Unity in Community coming up. We are collaborating with South Hill on this. This is on August 17th. It is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You are invited to participate for an hour, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, for all day, whatever you like. And if you would like to participate in that, you can use your phone for the QR code. You can go to the website, use the QR code, or you can email Danielle directly. Her email is also on there if you would like to participate in that. Also, our meditation day is moving from Tuesdays to Wednesdays, and that starts this week at 6 o'clock. And this week, we will be talking about mantras and experiencing some different ways to use them. And we'll be doing that for the first part, and then we'll be moving into the silence after that. So please feel free to join us. There's no fee for that. We do put out a prosperity bowl that we
end up donating to the church for that, but please feel free to be a part of that. We appreciate your participation. And of course, our Grace, or Gracie, is turning 70, and you are all invited to her birthday party. So please, I'll be putting this on the website if I haven't already. Also, it's in various places and here, so you have all of the information that you're going to need there. All right, I think that we are now headed for our tithing, or our love offering, as we like to call it. And just know that sharing, oh, I'm sorry, breathe in, breathe out. This is important. This is what we're doing Sunday mornings from 10:15 or 10:20, as it was this morning, until about 20 till 10 to 10:45. We have earplugs so that as we move into the silence, it helps deafen some of the sounds that come throughout the church, and it helps. So love to have that participation. Love to see you there. It's a wonderful way to get all prayed and meditated up before we move into Sunday service. All right. Okay, so sharing our gifts with intention creates an energetic flow through your mind and heart, creating more abundance for both the recipient and the giver. As we pass the offering bags, I invite you to hold your intentions in your mind. Just know that you do make a difference in the community and in the community of unity, as this month we are doing our Unity Northwest region and also our worldwide ministries for what we share with them. Sandra? Thank you, Sandra. That was beautiful. I'd like to invite you to join me in blessing these gifts as we affirm together the love offering statement. Together, divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. And I invite you to place any prayer intentions into the box here. And our prayer team and Silent Unity will pray over those for the next 30 days. All right, let's welcome in our children.
You are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. You are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
All right, Julie, do you want to give us a synopsis of what you all did today?
Love to. So today we talked about the Olympics that are happening and all the practice that's involved in becoming a master in an area of our life. And so each of the kids, they have their gold medals here, and on the front side, they have a heart that represents someone who has mastered the gift of love in their life. So I was going to have them share the person or people they chose as their giver of love to their life. So let's start with Lucy.
I made it for my mom.
Okay, and Ben?
Can I pass?
We're passing, but he did say his cousin and his sister while we were all gathered together. And then how about for you? It was her Uncle Josh. So many love-filled blessings in these kids' lives, and together they created their own Olympic rings representing some different powers in their lives.
That's wonderful. Oh, you guys, that's fantastic. Let's bless our children. Together, God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. And now, children, would you like to bless us back, please? Together. Loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. Thank you so much. All right, let us stand and see if we can join in a circle to do our peace song, after which, Jeff, I'd invite you to lead us in our prayer of protection.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God
God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth.